The interesting history of this bay, it was under many empires, Venetians, Ottomans, Austro-Hungarian, French, Russians, everyone. It's pretty much closed area, so people don't have culture to travel to, In the past time there were a lot of seamen, but, they go to sea. Most of them are never came back. Those one who came back, imagine what type of stories they were, telling the locals. Down there is a village named Muo. That was fisherman's village, and all those families who were living from fishing, catching sardines on traditional way, they were just surviving doing that. They were catching sardines, putting them in the cans, selling them. But it was, that was a food for the most poor people without any money. The main food always was meat here. In other areas, so especially Buda in that area, there are writings that people were looking, especially fishermen, at dolphins like, sea monsters. In Budva was a situation that, those fishermen, when they're catching fish, sometimes dolphin, broke their nets. And they were really hunting them, and they were bringing them on the coast and in the cities like a big trophies. They were thinking that dolphins are, like beasts from the deep sea. There are many legends about, fairy tales and everything around the area. Maybe a couple of weeks ago I read the article, with a picture from, I think, middle of 60s in Budva or 70s, I don't remember for sure. There's a big topic in the newspapers. We finally killed the beast who was destroying our fishing nets, and you see they bring that dolphin at the coast and everyone celebrated. That's crazy. And even today there are people who think in a similar way, and that's not right. Not right. And this is 1987. My name is Ivan Krivokapić. Many friends call me Guido, and I'm born here in Kotor. And basically I raised here, live all my life here. So not more than 90s. This is 91st. My father was a sailorman. He spent whole his career sailing on the big cargo ships. He was not like many sailormen now or before that he is gonna spend whole career on the boat. So he was, 7-8 months on the boat and then, 10 months at home. Most of the population in that time was living inside the old town of Kotor. So old town of Kotor was a place where people were meeting, they were, discussing about many different topics, and I think it was much better because people were not hungry for money like they are hungry today. And I know my parents, so every day someone was coming, for lunch or dinner, or let's, have a fun. And also we were going to other friends. From my mother's side, my grandmother, she was working in candy store, and she liked fishing a lot. And most of her life she was doing fishing, and she kept her small boat, similar size to that one over there, in this position where I keep my boat today. Also her family, from her father, grandfather, all of them were doing a lot of fishing, not commercial, but that was lifestyle here in the past times. The most of connection in general I have with my grandmother in childhood. I have passion for fishing because of her. Imagine, 30 years ago or 35 years ago, to be here in the early morning, no any traffic, no any noise. There are no people around, everyone is sleeping. Everyone in that time got small engine, 4 horsepower, named Thomas, got very specific sound. So when she started coming, maybe 1 mile from me, I was hearing, okay, there she is. They are coming. They're not gonna miss me. You see the sunrise, you start hearing the birds, mostly seagulls following us, you know. So that's that boat of my grandmother, my brother and me. So I called her in the evening, are gonna go tomorrow morning, yes. And basically she was going every day. And she got, 3 or 4 friends, also old ladies, and they were coming from the old town of Kotor. All of them were living there on bikes to here. So in this age, I started going fishing with my grandmother. So very young. I think I was 4 years old, not more, when I catch first mackerel in the bay. You know how exciting was that for myself, to be in the middle of the bay, to catch the fish. And mackerel, they are crazy fish, they going all around the boats. And of course in time when I will start learning how to fish, that was Yugoslavia. So basically we were doing, hand fishing, and that was, you get sardine, you throw it, and you hold like this, and then if fish is eating, you feel, and then up, and then you start, pulling fish in. I remember also that fishing that, when I catch big one, like, 3 or 4 kilo one, then you're a kid and you're using hand line, then you just, I do like this with the hand to stop the line going out and call, oh, grandmother, we said baba for grandmother, or now like, baba, brzo dođi, that means, grandmother, quick, you have to help me. And, then she bring it to the boat, because, for me, that was big fishing that time. So that was, that, how you say, fashion of that time in this area. So all of those grannies were looking like this, swimming suit and that type of hat. So, and this was what she was catching, snappers. I have to be honest with you, I was a little bit afraid of deep water as a kid. And actually I was a lot afraid. I was always afraid to jump in that deep water. I was always thinking, okay, it's gonna be a shark, it's gonna be some sea monster or something. And I also remember that, my grandmother was offering me, okay, if you go and swim around the boat, I will give you some money. Or I will give you the biggest candy I got in my home. And I was thinking, okay, a little bit of money for ice cream or some nice candy will be nice, but, it's very dark down there, I don't want to do that. My brother was not afraid for some reason, and other friends, they were not afraid, and I was always afraid of some, I was researching a lot about what is in the sea, and I know that there are sharks outside, and there are, giant squids, or, I was seeing those science fiction movies about Jules Verne and other guys about, sea monsters.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour.
Report.
Okay, maybe they are here, I was thinking that they are here. So my one of grandparents from father's side, they were living just 100 meters from where we are now. You go there, and the whole day you are swimming, you are fishing, you are staying on the sea. Then I go with grandmother in the morning, in the middle of the bay down there, for more fishing. I was always catching like from here, from this pier, or down there, or more over there. I was catching small fish named, I don't know, spar and bukona, at this size. And, bring them home. Okay, mom, could you do that for me, fry them? She, in our family, was always tradition that we were eating fish, but some neighbors or cousins, when they go, oh, no, that's poison, we don't eat that. Or mussels, that was, total taboo to eat. For me, that was the biggest fun in the world. So I really like it. And I was, my brother was going time by time, but I was going in the summertime mostly every single morning. in time, when Yotsu was here, everyone knows about him. He was so friendly animal that I think that there's no kid in the area that didn't swim with Yotsu. I remember those times. So in summertime, he was going all around the bay, and you see him or you hear people screaming, "There's a Yotsu! There's a Yotsu!" Everyone jumping in the water, tap on the surface, and then he came to play with you. So I got that experience. I mean, it was a lot of stress for me. We were playing, and I was, a little bit afraid when, they're friendly, but they're wild animals. So Yotsu was huge dolphin, very old one. We start swim back, and he pulled me back to play more. And then, that was, I was super scared. I didn't jump in deep water for I think 5 years after that. I was seeing Yotsu so many times coming inside this pier here, and then we jump in the boats and play with him, and that was very surprising for me to see him in that shallow water, in that these small areas, coming inside, just want to play with the kids or some attention. But for us that was you speaking about that for next 2 years at the one meeting with Yotsu, so it was very, very nice. I got memories about my grandmother. That dolphins was following the boats, they like to play with the boats. And I remember a couple of times, that was that type of boat. Yotsu was jumping all about them, and they were always afraid why he's following them. Especially if they're going to fishing. Oh, he's gonna scare all the fish. Go away. Ish, move. Don't come. Don't follow us. Many times happen, and it was not strong engine that can hurt, and the lips got that shape that doesn't hurt the dolphin. So, and if happening that dolphin touched it with a tail or something, and then broke it, and the lips doesn't rotate anymore, and that was if the old woman staying in the middle of the bay, they have to use rowboats. It's not motorboat anymore. I remember when Yotsu was here, so you're swimming, and then one moment you're under attack of sardines. What was going on was that Yotsu was pushing them to shallow water, to the beach, and it was happening very often that you got on the beach, 500 kilos of sardines, all of them jump out. They just torpedoes and escaping from him. But for us was you got plenty of food around you, collect them. I was always collecting them. You need more fish to attract the other fish, like snappers. So you collect 100 kilos of them and throw in one spot. And next 3, 4, 5 days or 10 days you're catching nice size snapper on that spot. But yes, everyone knows him. And at the end, unfortunately, fishermen killed him. Reaction when Yotsu was killed was very strong. Everyone were very angry and sad. On place where they killed him in Biela, you got monument for him. Staying out of the water in real size big dolphin. I think it's from bronze. That's how people really like that dolphin. And years after he died, they killed him. I didn't saw any dolphin in the bay. And I think that years after that, there were writing in newspapers, even on television time by time, about how Yotsu died and why that happened. But unfortunately, nothing changed. Except we doesn't have that friendly dolphin anymore. For one moment, when I was 20, 21, I do a lot of fishing. You're catching bonitos, mackerel, snapper, selling them to restaurants in the market. So catching, 50, 100 kilos of fish each day. There were huge schools of many different fish, especially mackerels and bonito in the bay in that time. Even now, but not in that number, not even close to that number. You start, sometimes what happened that I start like today early in the morning, like 4 a.m. I stay whole day, whole next night, and then come back home. So you catching during the day, you catching bonito, mackerel, and then if you catch some snapper, even better. They can be really big in the bay, up to 5-6 kilo piece. And then overnight you catching squids. For the squids, you just need to put the light in the water, and you use your lures and nothing more than that, and to be patient. Many people thinking, you was living in communist country in Yugoslavia. It was like, they know stories, not the nice stories about living here, only the bad things. But pretty much it was very nice. Okay, there were some big stores and plenty of things to buy, but no one need that here. People were really enjoying the life. Your parents got regular jobs, so they work from 7 to 2 or 3 p.m. After that they are free. You finish your time, no more calling, so you're gonna do that tomorrow. Everything was much slower, and people really enjoyed, and they got time for the family. Everyone, since you are born. So if someone, need help, everyone goes out to help him. Without, I don't need to call you. You saw me, I'm doing something, I need help, you're gonna come and help me. I'd say that my childhood was pretty much normal until things start to happening and become very bad in Yugoslavia. You got restrictions, you are not allowed to travel anywhere, nothing to buy around, so until one moment it was perfect. In that period of war, always, even when COVID starts, lockdown, you have more people on the sea doing fishing. Because they don't have nothing to do, and also, people here are not, rich people, so if you stay out of your job for 2-3 months, you are in problem. So I was seeing them coming much more boats for fishing, local people. You got people who are killing fish with dynamite on the coast of mostly Kotor municipality. Migration of the fish is always nearby the coast, especially this coast of south of Adriatic is very popular and full of fish, and they were killing big schools of sardines, of mullets, of amberjack, all fish coming close to the coast, to the rocks actually, on the open sea area, especially area of Luštica, they were killing by dynamite. That was super dangerous for guys who are doing that, who are practicing that. Even when you're seeing those people, you see that they're losing like hand or a couple of fingers, or they got some problems. So you know how they do it, they're smoking cigarettes and they're starting, the fire on dynamite like this on cigarette, and then they walk, they're looking the fish, they do that like this, and throw down. I was looking them a couple of times. So you go fishing there, or you do spear fishing, or swim with your family, and in one moment you just hear, and that's the sound of dynamite under the water. So like, and then you say, you got kids, you got your boat, you got, That area is popular for spear fishing, and if you're doing that, someone can kill you easily, and no one know what's happened to you. I don't know how to explain you profile of those people. They are, it was very hard to argue with them because they always got, you know, like a gun or more dynamite. They don't think about nothing. So if you start arguing with them, you can have a big problem. You leave your car there, they're gonna, you know, blow it out. Easy. They were doing that. The worst period was, you know, war in Bosnia, Croatia, so 90s, all 90s. That was very bad period because there were no any control. Everything is out of mind. People become crazy. They were surviving, but there's no way how you're gonna survive. To destroy all environment, everything surrounding you, and then you want to live here in the future. That's not good. And then group of fishermen, they start, you know, negotiated. They start a big promotion about the bad things they are doing. And then every day police was on the sea, police was on the coast, and slowly they arrest probably 80% of them. 20 others are become scared. They didn't do that anymore. Now there's no, maybe happen time by time, periodically. In period of war, there were a lot of them, but most of them were also the guys that were telling you that story, who are putting illegal nets from one side to another of the bay and trying to catch as much as they can. So it was not that, you know, that nice. I don't like COVID and wars because it's gonna, you know, inspire many those illegal fishermen to start doing what they're doing again. Tourism changed this area completely. There are many big bad things happening in the bay at the moment because of tourism. People who got some regular jobs here, some of them got problems because they are not paid enough to have nice living here because prices because of tourism are raising every year. And I see that some people who are not involved in tourism are now more and more angry because of that. And you know, if you got family, if you need to surviving again after you survive wars and everything, now surviving because of tourists, that, you know, that makes you very angry. So I think that we need more regulations about how many cruise ships can arrive in the bay, how many people could be in the area, because, you know, in Kotor area lives a little bit more than 25,000 people, and if you got, you know, 40,000 come each day by cruise ships, that's not good. They don't have mooring point, they're putting the anchors every single day when they arrive. There's so many of them. There's a big noise pollution because of what, even myself doing noise pollution. But problem is that we have speed limit, and they allowed so many speedboats and jet skis in the summertime, so many activities on the sea. And since they don't control the speed limit, that, you know, percent of traffic is, you know, 500% bigger that it will be if everyone following the speed limit. Even, you know, I agree that if they want, I will do that easily. To move my diesel engine, use, you know, solar panel, electric power engine, or you know, change the boat. I will use sailboat, no problem. I mean, but I just want that they control everyone. So, I mean, this is business from which I live, and I don't want, you know, to destroy my business and all others doesn't take care. I think mostly every summer happened that we got dead dolphins in the bay, mostly in the bay. And problem, what I see, what was the main problem is the speed in the bay. We got speed limit, and many of young guys now probably they even doesn't know about the speed limit, and they driving speedboats and everything, and that's the way how they kill dolphins. Because if you come here in the summertime, if you're on the sea, you will see early morning, especially late evening when you have a lot of traffic, you know, sardines are coming on the surface and then dolphins chasing them. And in those situations happen that they, you know, crash with dolphins. They probably even doesn't know that they hit the dolphin. They just go over him, and that's how they're hurting them and killing them. Same situation is with the sea turtles. So every year I find 5-6 dead sea turtles killed by boats and speedboats going over the speed limit. Then you got global warming, like last summer, water temperature was over 32 degrees Celsius. It was, highest level ever. So it was really big change, for the bay. And when the water become warm, there's no enough oxygen in the sea. So this bay is not that deep. It's in the middle is 35 meters. So if that start mixing, if you change the temperature all over the bay, that's gonna be end for all type of fish. And then another problem is that when I was a kid, there were no that much public light around because this was not a touristic big area and no one needs light. At night you're at home, so nothing to do outside. And now you got hotels, you got apartments, people without any rules and regulation, bringing and throwing a lot of sand to make a beach for their customers, and that's not right because fish come in the bay to reproduce, and fish reproduce in shallow waters. And when you bring a lot of sand, which is not by nature here, I think that catching shrimps for the baits. There are not that many like it was in the past. There are not many crabs because all of them are coming and living inside the piers. And that's where you're finding them now. You come at night and finding them around the piers. And since mostly they use cement, now not stones anymore to make the piers, they don't have, natural habitat. They destroy everything. Like the same thing happened with lobsters in the bay. There are no lobsters anymore. And there was one special type of shark, on our language name is peshikan. And fishermen completely destroyed that population. I didn't saw that shark for probably more than 30 years, maybe 25, 30 years. I didn't hear that anyone catch it here in the bay. I was also catching when I was a kid, and probably most of them were under the size I had to keep, but in that time no one was there to tell you, okay, you have to release that fish. You have to educate people at least to save something we got at the moment. I was a president of local fishing club for, 3 or 4 years, maybe even 5. And there were many situations when they were putting 1 kilometer net, so from one side to another side of the bay, all around. Problem is, it's even one do that, and you got, I know them at that time, maybe 10 of them doing the same thing. So we were fighting all the time. We were trying to stop them doing that, but answer from ministry of the time, they didn't realize, they didn't want to hear that that's a big problem. 2 years ago I was sharing a video with our Ministry of Ecology and Tourism about fishermen in Rissan Bay catch dolphin into the net, and they told me that's usual, that's happening. I don't understand why that is usual, because when you hear the speaking between people who catch him, you see that that's not something, probably happened accidentally, but I don't know what happened with that dolphin later, or they kill him or release him. That's a big animal, and those people didn't look any friendly for that dolphin in that moment.
Pa prekinimo mrežu, Evo će nam. Potopit će nas Boka, jebo. Kidaj. Imaj tako od ozdo, kidaj nož stavi od ozdo nož.
if you're asking me, I will not allow anyone to do net fishing except these traditional fishermen, because those nets are not dangerous for dolphin. Even if they catch him, it's gonna go out, because you know how nets works. Our government and municipal, they a little bit take care. I think that they don't take care enough about people who doing that fishing now. And they, for example, a couple of years ago, they marked all the spots where it's allowed to do that type of fishing, so catching sardines, pulling them on the coast. But I can tell you, those places are not in good condition. Many of them are not useful for fishermen, because you see a big progress in business with speedboats, other type of boats, and everyone put the mooring any place they want. So when they put the mooring in the middle of the fishing spot for them, it's there's no chance that they can pull the net over that.
I think if you don't change something in next 10 years, that everything is gonna go wrong again. It's gonna be too much for locals, and if they become mad, that's not gonna be nice. You have to find the balance between tourism and local people, and if you don't do that, it's not good.
Problem is that people are not good educated here. They don't know how important it is to have dolphins around, and if you don't change that, they're gonna destroy everything. It's the same with the sea turtles. It's the same with the fish population in the bay.
Actually, dolphins are pushing big schools of sardines and mackerel inside the bay, because bay water is much more shallow and much more easier for them to hunt. And that's why they are here in big number.
They don't realize that actually dolphins are, maybe even helping you for fishing. They definitely must change. I got lucky to swim with them maybe 5-6 years ago. I was seeing the dolphin because half of the tail was missing on the back, and that's how I was recognizing him. So I was seeing him around. He was continue following my boat, and before that dolphin was following my boat for probably more than 1 month. Sometimes, I'm going outside the bay to the Blue Cat trip. On the way back, nearby Humboldt, that's maybe a little bit more than halfway from here to there, I saw the dolphin and he started following me. He was going out, he saw my boat, and he started following me back inside Kotor Bay again. So I stopped running the boat, and he still stayed, like he invited you to come to play. And I was a little bit scared, but I jumped in the water and it was cool. It was really cool, and we swim probably more than 40 minutes. People here are always thinking that take care about the environment is not their job. No, it's all of us. At least you can try to change something. And local people doesn't. They are very hard on changing. Very, very hard. So it's a long process for us. Bay must be protected. That's for sure.